この封筒の送付はつまりベアトリーチェによる事件の計画性を裏付けるものかしら。
I wonder. Alright guys, welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. Now, honestly, I'll be blunt. I have so much to say right now at the start of this video that I think I'll try to make it as quick as possible. But I think if you're here for Umineko, just skip 20 minutes. Like, I'm not even joking. Oh my god, because I have to talk about, well, first things first. I just want to say another thing, and I'm gonna do this while I talk. I'm gonna clip my nails. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to be talking a lot at the start of this recording. I'm going to clip my nails anyway. Multitask. I'm gonna record this video while clipping my nails. If you hear a couple clicking noises, yeah, it's because I'm clipping my nails. You know, I haven't clipped my nails in about a week and a half or something like that, so kind of need to by now. But okay, so I gotta talk about the craziness of what happened last part, as in not even Umineko, but in real life. Because last part I recorded 2 days ago, right? Yes. Wait, was it 2 days ago? Yes, 2 days ago. Alright, so what happened 2 days ago? 2 days ago, you guys might know, the Queen died. Or 3 days ago, because this should come out tomorrow. So the Queen died 2 days ago, and that's also when I recorded the last part, right? And this should come out tomorrow, like I said, because I'm recording this on Saturday. And okay, this is wild. What happened is so wild, because before I started, I also commented on this in the last video. But what happened was, before I started recording the video, I was like, I checked my phone. I was like, I'm gonna record a video in a second. I'm gonna record a Umineko video as always, as I do. It was this cool afternoon. It's like 4 p.m. or whatever, right? 5 p.m. And I get a notification like, oh, the doctors worry about the Queen's health. And then I look at him like, oh, okay, so it seems like the doctors are saying that the Queen of England is in bad health. Okay, they announced that. I was like, okay, well, let's hope she doesn't die. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's hope she's okay and she pulls through. So I sat down on my chair. I was like, alright, well, it's fine. We'll follow up on the news of the Queen. I'm sure we'll get more updates, soon or maybe in a few weeks. And then I started recording the video, the Umineko video last part, and I talked about the Queen stuff happening live. And literally, during the time I was recording the video, in the middle of it, because it was like a 2-hour video last video, in the middle of it, at some point, it was also announced that the Queen had passed away. But since I was busy recording Umineko, I didn't see it until after I finished recording. So I was there reading out these return letters with Angie, between Angie and then that again was quote written by Beato. And the Queen was announced to be dead, and I was just really reading Umineko, and I even talked about I even said last part talked about the Queen's being in bad health last part. So then I ended the video. I was like, okay, cool, successful video. There was a lot of stuff going on last video, so I went really slow because I was noting down, and good I did, because I'm already starting to forget some details of what happened last video, because there were so many things that happened. So I noted them down, thankfully. And I'm sure it's going to be even more things that are going to be said here. But yeah, there was so many things. The letters that were unsent to them in the most northern side of Japan and then the most western side of Japan, they were sent to. Oh, I'm really forgetting their names. There's been a lot of characters introduced through Angie's story, right? But what were the characters' names again? There was what's his name? Nanjo's son. What was his name again? Nanjo. It's not coming to me. And then there was also Kumasawa's not grandson but son, right? Yeah, son, the fisherman that lived close by, and she got lucky to see him. Forgot his name as well, but Kumasawa something. Alright, they're children, and they got the letters as well. And then Angie also remembered that she got one of those letters, and now she's saying that to mention that this game was premeditated by Beato. So yeah, successful video. Okay, a lot of details. I stopped recording. Bro, I checked my phone again. And like the first thing I see is like doctors announce, or like authorities announce the Queen's death or something like that. And I'm just there like, Huh? But she died? I didn't expect it. I was like, yo. Like the announcement came like 30 minutes ago. So it was like 30 minutes before the video I was recording finished ending. Like I was like I saw it, was like, oh my god, 30 minutes ago the queen was about to be dead. I'm just there like, yo, this is historical, this is huge. I mean, she's been ruling the United Kingdom since the 1950s, right? She's been ruling that for like 60, 70 years. I'm just there. I was flabbergasted. Yo, the queen's dead. I was just there, queen's dead. And even talked about in the video that like, I hope the queen doesn't die, because I mean, she does die, it's a huge thing, right? But I was like, I was expecting that when I saw that she was in bad health, I was expecting, okay, you know, she's probably gonna be in bad health for a couple of weeks, and if she does die, it's probably gonna be a couple of weeks, and or maybe she gets fine, you know, she's fine and she keeps on going, right? But I didn't expect her to die the same day. I was not expecting her to die that day, so I was just there like, oh, okay, she's dead. I have to clip my fingers also while I talk, but okay, because yeah, but yeah, it was wild to me, man. It was wild. And what was even crazier is that my grandfather's birthday happened, and I was talking about my grandfather's birthday in the video. It was just really funny. And then I saw a post that was trending about how some other woman's grandmother turned 97 that year, which is even better than my grandfather turning 85, because it's like irony on how her grandmother turned 97 and the queen died at 96. Just hella, it feels hella disrespectful, but yeah. But yeah, my grandfather turned 85. He didn't turn 97. He's not that old yet. But you know, he's still kicking about. I mean, my grandfather's in good health, thankfully. But he had his birthday then. It was wild. And I also uploaded my 1000th video on my channel, man. It's just so much just happened. That was a wild day. That's what, Thursday. Dude, this Thursday was a wild day, bro. The queen died. Holy crap. So yeah, now Prince. Well, I say Prince now. King Charles is now the new king. It feels weird to say King of England. It feels very weird, because throughout my entire life since I was born, it was always Queen. It was always Queen. England Queen. It was never King. So not to hear King, it's like whoa. It's kind of like in Norway too. In Norway, let's talk about the Norwegian royal family here too. In Norway, it's always been king. There's never been a queen. Always king. It's been like that for hundreds of years, for centuries. So we won't be getting a queen until the Princess Ingrid turns well, whenever she gets the throne, which probably won't happen anytime soon, because well, Harald has to step down or pass away or something like that, right? And even if he dies or something like that, Håkon gets to the throne, and then even he has to die or step away from it before Ingrid can finally be appointed queen, which will be historical as well, because I'm pretty sure she'd be the second female Norwegian queen thing, right? The first being the one that was Margaret, Margaret from that made the whole Kalmar Union, right? Back in the 15th century, I believe, 14th century, 16th maybe even. I don't know. One of those like Renaissance, I think, centuries, right? I think it was a Renaissance. It was like 15th century or 16th century, something like that. But yeah, Margaret was like the first queen of, but not just Norway. But it was like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland. It was like she was like the queen of everything, bro. She was ruling the Nordic like countries. So yeah, but the next queen. Well, I mean, you know, we already okay, not really technically already has a queen, right? We have Queen Sonja, which, by the way, I've met her. Have I told you guys that I've met Queen Sonja? I have. That's another story, bro. But I have met the Queen of Norway. That was wild. I say I've met her. She came to a speech in the town I used to be living in, right? It was a very small town, and she did this whole speech. And then as she walked away, she was waving at everyone, and then I made eye contact with her and waved at her. That's enough. That's enough for me. I met her. I don't care what anyone says. She made eye contact with me and waved at me, and I waved back at her. That's crazy, bro. I met her. I don't care what anyone says, bro. I might not have said a single word to her. She might not have said a single word to me, but I don't care, bro. Like, I guarantee this happened like years ago, a couple years ago. So I guarantee you, the queen does not remember that happening, right? She does not remember my face or me whatsoever. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm at the queen, bros. Can you say that? Eh? Eh? Okay. Anyway, so technically we already have the queen, right? But I mean, it's king. It's the king Huddle. That's the ruler. That rule. Like I say ruler. I mean, he doesn't really rule anything. You know what I mean? Like, yes, the king theoretically has power, the political power in Norway, but he doesn't do anything. And besides, the Norwegian people love Harald. People love King Harald. Well, we say Kong in Norwegian. King Harald. People love him because he's just great. Even I like him. I respect him as well. So he's just great. But well, yes, he has political power. He doesn't use it. You know what I mean? He technically has the power to veto some stuff, but he doesn't use that. He's never used that. Like, you know what I mean? You know, it's just like realistically, he doesn't have any power, but technically, theoretically, he does. But he's just like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, whatever the country decides, he goes along with it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, he's just yeah. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, and then after him will be Håkon, who's actually not the eldest child of Harald and killed King Harald and Sonja. He's actually the second, but his older sister, Håkon's older sister, I believe it's someone like it has to be a male that continues on the throne. However, that's not a thing anymore, right? At the time it was a thing, but that's not a thing anymore. So now females, it's like female members of the royal family can finally take the throne. So full possibility for the current princess to take the throne. Although I say that, but she's only 18 years old. I think she turned 18 this year. That's crazy. But yeah, she's only 18 years old. I'd say let her live her life. You know what I mean? To be fair, she's only a few years younger than me. She's the same age as Angie. She's the same as Angie. Like, imagine Angie being the queen of a country. You know what I mean? She's the same age. Yeah. So Ingrid is like 18 years old, right? This year, January. I remember that happening. It's like a monumental moment for a lot of people because everyone's talking about how she's finally she's an adult now, right? The princess is an adult, right? Because 18, you're officially an adult. So people talking about that, like, oh, the princess is an adult. And she's going to be the next leader whenever. I mean, that probably won't happen anytime soon. Like, I'm hoping that Harald goes on for a good while now, like at least another decade. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully Harald can still kick on as much as possible, because I think he's great. And if anything does unfortunately happen to him, I'm sure he's made a statement about the queen. I don't know if he has or not. But yeah, then it goes on to Håkon anyway. So even if Harald steps down or something like that, right? He stops being king. It still goes on to Håkon, his son, right? Before it then goes on to the princess, who's 18. So I'm sure we won't be seeing Queen Ingrid for a good 50 years or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, she won't have to seriously worry about being queen for another, like, wow. Like, she'll be very old by then, and I'll be very old by then, because me and her actually, I was shocked how similar in age we were, right? I thought the you know, I didn't know how old the princess and the prince as well, like, she has a younger brother. I didn't know how old they were, but I always thought that they were much younger than me. I always thought they were born like 2007 or whatever. Then I was like, oh, she was born 2004. You know, when she turned 18, I was like, yo, okay, wow, we're close in age. When she turned 18 early on this year. And I'm born late too. I'm born like late in the year. I'm born in November, so my birthday's in November. So just like made our age gap even closer. I didn't realize I was that close in age to her. So when she turned 18, I was like, wait, what? She's 18? She's that old? I was kind of shocked because I always thought of her as a little kid. It was wild. It was wild to see her be 18 this year. So it's definitely going to feel really weird. I mean, it won't happen anytime soon. If he ever does get appointed queen, hopefully not anywhere near in the near future. Hopefully she don't get appointed queen for the next 50 years. I've said this for the sake of her. You know what I mean? She probably doesn't want to go through that pressure. You know what I mean? Like, I'd say let her live her life. But I mean, in general, you know, I say for Ingrid, right? Princess Ingrid, like she just let's let it be queen when she's like 6 years old, and Hokun is like, alright, I'm done. You know what I mean? Hokun probably like be like 90 something. Give the queenship to Ingrid, who's like 50 or 60. You know? I don't want her to be worrying about it anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like let it happen like 30 plus years from now, or 40 years. You know, she's still very young. Let it, like, I don't know. But that's just me. I'm not super invested in the royal family. I'm not gonna lie. Not the Norwegians nor the English one, British one. I'm not really super, but yeah. Anyway, I still haven't started clipping my fingers, so I also want to talk about one more thing before we get to Umineko. I'm clipping my fingers now, so the noise you're hearing is me clipping my fingers, my fingernails. There's a fingernail scene in Higurashi, now that I think about it, where, if you guys know, where what's her name? Clip my fingers. This fingernail, remember that, because I watched Higurashi. It was a very brutal scene where I believe Mion was it. Wait a minute, because I'm now getting confused because it was one of the two sisters. It was either Shion doing it to me, you know, pulling off Mion's fingernails, or it was Mion doing it to Shion. I'm not sure. I think it was Shion doing it to Mion, because Mion acted like she was Shion. Because that was the arc where they swapped, right? Where Shion, where Shion was like the the person with the curse all along, right? With the Hinamizawa curse all along, and Mion was actually acting like she was Shion, right? Or something like that, or like we mistook Mion for Shion. It wasn't revealed until the very end. It was like that it was Shion, and I was like, wow, that was Shion the entire time. I thought that was Mion going crazy. So yeah, it was actually Shion going crazy. It had something to do with Satoshi, right? So I think it was Shion doing it to Mion, pulling off her fingernails. But yeah, there was a scene like that in Higurashi. It was brutal. It was crazy. But I believe in the visual novel, someone told me that they actually are swapped from birth. Like Mion is supposed to be Shion, and Shion is supposed to be Mion from birth. So the Mion we know is actually Shion, technically. She's actually the younger sister, I believe, while Shion is the older sister. But they had decided between themselves that they'd swap, and when they were young, and nobody really noticed it or something like that. So they just kept it going, and so Mion just turned to Shion from then on, and Shion turned to Mion. So the Mion we know is actually Shion, technically. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, Higurashi. And I didn't know this until a visual novel reader told me about it. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get to reading Higurashi one day. Yeah. Speaking of visual novel reader, I talked to my friend who introduced me to Higurashi, to Umineko actually. He told me to read Umineko visual novel. I spoke to him again a couple days ago. Before the Queen's death. And we were talking about Umineko. We talked about Umineko for a while. We talked about Umineko for an hour. You know, we had a discussion about how things are going. And regarding him, to be fair, he's wild because he vaguely he doesn't remember everything. He didn't spoil me about anything, obviously, but he doesn't he didn't let's see. He to be fair to him, he didn't. He's read Umineko up until episode 7, so including episode 7, he's read all of Umineko, but he hasn't read episode 8. So, and it's been so many years, he said, that he's forgotten a lot of what happened during the early parts. So what he's doing right now is what you guys are doing when you're watching this. He's basically watching some like a YouTube couple or something like that read through the visual novel together. He told me, and I was like, oh, okay, nice. Okay, well, that's really cool. You know, and that's because he's saying that it's been so long since he's read it, and he hasn't read episode 8 yet. So you might be wondering, why did he not read episode 8 at the time? Well, episode 8 was not actually translated in English at the time when he was reading it. Because he read it many years ago, he said, many years ago. So he's forgotten a lot of the story. He's forgotten a lot of the order and the way things happen, right? So episode 8 wasn't translated yet, and I'm like, bro, that's crazy. You literally were so close to the end, and it wasn't translated yet, bro. That's crazy. Like, all the mysteries were gonna be solved to you or something, or maybe they already were. I don't know. I don't know when the mysteries get solved. Maybe they get solved in episode 7. But I was like, yo, that's crazy. You're so close to the end. And he was like, yeah. But we had a good long discussion. He loves Umineko. He's one of his favorites. Even When They Cry in general is one of his favorite franchises. And you know what? I love When They Cry myself. I mean, I love Higurashi so much. I mean, Higurashi is the entire reason reading Umineko, right? As you know, when my friend told me that Umineko was made by the same writer and is at least as good, and if you read the visual novel, it'll be so much better. I knew this was for me, and yeah, the Higurashi anime, I rate it highly. I know the visual novel is probably better, for sure. I haven't read it, but like, yo, I'm probably gonna read it. You know, I'm probably not soon, right after I finish this visual novel, because I'll probably be in visual novel drained, if that makes sense, after I finish reading Minako. But I'll be sure to read the Higurashi in the future at some point. Not sure if I'll make a whole series about that, considering when I make videos out of out of these things, they end up being hundreds upon hundreds of videos long. I mean, my Minako series is already like how many videos? 150 plus videos or something by now. God damn, bro. I'm reading 4 episodes, and we're only halfway through, so yeah, I learned that's what happens when I make really long series, when we read stuff like this. Alright, I'm done clipping my nails, by the way. Alright. I'll put my fingernail clipper. What do you guys call it? Just a clipper? Fingernail clipper? So there you go. I've got my fingernails. Because I'm gonna go bouldering tomorrow, so it's not good to have too long of fingernails. That's another reason why I clipped them. So I'm gonna go bouldering, no climbing. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I talked to him and he was like, great, and he hasn't read episode 8. So yeah, now, lastly, I want to talk about one more thing, and then we'll get to Umineko reading. This is pretty much a podcast at this point. Nah, but okay. As I was walking home today, right? I'm recording this late at night. As I was walking home in the evening, I was just walking home, just randomly, right? You know, I'm just hanging out, and I bought. By the way, today I've been out all day. I've been out hanging out with friends. There was a Pride March. Do you guys know? You guys know Pride. It's like today's like Pride Day or whatever in Norway. So yeah, I went with some friends. We marched with Pride and all that stuff. You know, gay, LGBTQ awareness and all that. So I joined the Pride. We walked for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. We stood for like 50 minutes, and then we started walking for like 30 minutes, and then we stopped at the city center, and then we dispersed. We went around, did different stuff. We went shopping, you know, we bought ice cream, bought cheese. we did a bunch of stuff. Today was a wild day, and then I went to basically this nerd, I guess you could call it a nerd shop, and I bought of course I did, a One Piece poster. Yes, I know. Of course I did. I bought it, I had to buy it. It was majestic. I really like it. It's a poster of Luffy and Kaido in one. It's a whole Wano poster, and you see Yamato there. It's the 1000 Locks poster. I can't wait to hang it up, but I need to buy more like gum to be able to hang up more posters. But yeah, I'll probably do it in the future. I'm thinking of hanging up in the wall right behind me, like right behind here where I'm recording. When I'm recording you guys, right behind me there's a wall which is open, and that's where I'm gonna hang the poster. Luffy and Kaido. I'm sure it's gonna be beautiful. I'm looking at the Kingdom Hearts poster that I got from the same place, and the Kingdom Hearts poster is really high quality, so I think it's gonna be worth it. So yeah. Anyway, as I was walking home, like later on in the video, because I mean we did a whole bunch of stuff after that. So he was like, I'm walking home late in the evening. It's night out. Right? It's dark out. I'm walking home, and I'm taking the poster with me, right? It was wrapped in plastic, and I'm walking like this. I'm like kind of dancing as I'm walking because I'm really happy because I got the poster and all that. And the poster was cheap too, by the way. The poster is cheap. Last time I bought it for like at least twice the price, I think. So I think it was on sale or whatever. So it was really cheap. I'm so glad about it. I could have purchased other posters, but they were kind of... A lot of them were made, not online, and the poster, there was a really cool Kaneki poster I wanted because I love Tokyo Ghoul. But it wasn't there. It wasn't like one of the numbers. It was unfortunate. But yeah, as I was walking home, earlier on today, I was walking. There was this random. So get this. There was this random girl, right? Random girl, and I was walking, just walking. Random girl ran from like 50 meters behind me. She ran up to me, and I heard her running. I was like, okay, probably a jogger or something. She ran, and then she stopped right next to me as I was dancing with the poster walking home. And this is fantastic. This is really good. She just looks at me, and I'm like, oh, she wants my attention. Is this someone I know? Like, my first reaction is this someone I know? Is this someone like a girl I know? And it noticed me that she was a girl. Like, she had like a cap on, like some hat. And I looked at her and was like, oh, okay. Is she gonna say something? And then she immediately just went, hello. Okay, I'm gonna translate to English, but we're talking Norwegian, obviously, right? She's in Norwegian. So she just goes, hello, right, in Norwegian. I'll go, hello. I'm like, I don't know who she is. And immediately, I noticed two things. First things first, she reeks of alcohol. Okay, this girl reeks of alcohol. Like, she's been drinking, she's been partying all night. Like, I could tell, bro. I could tell she was full. Like, it was bad, bro. And another thing I noticed, bro, she was wobbling. This is the second thing I noticed. She was wobbling. She was struggling to walk. She was like, ugh. I don't think I've ever seen a more drunk girl in my entire life. She was extremely drunk. She was like wobbling like this. And I'm walking normally. I'm just dancing about, right? And I think she noticed that I was dancing. And she just came up to me. I was like, hello. I'm like, hello. And I immediately noticed that. I'm like, okay, so it's a drunk girl. Alright, cool. Like, what does she want? I'm just gonna keep going. Just gonna keep walking. I don't know what she wants. And then she goes, nice. Are you dancing? You're dancing. I'm like, you're dancing. I'm like, yeah, because I was to be fair to her, I was kind of dancing with the post, because holding the post, I was kind of like walking like kind of dancing a little bit. I was having fun. And I was like, yeah, I'm dancing. And she's like, what song are you listening to? She goes, what song are you listening to? And I go, I'm not listening to any music. You see, I don't have any earphones plugged in or anything like that. You can tell. I'm just dancing. And then she goes, then what song are you beating? You know, jogging off to? Like dancing off to, whatever. What song you in your head? I'm like, I'm not thinking of any song. I'm just having fun dancing. And she goes, that's. And then she goes, okay. And she just looks on, and bro, she's wobbling the entire time, bro. She's just wobbling. It was so funny. And then I go to her, and then to ask her, like, well, by the way, I should also preface, I don't know who she is. She's a complete stranger. I don't know who she is. I've never seen or heard of her before. But like, she probably just approached me because she was drunk and just saw a random guy dancing. So I go, okay, well, what music do you like? Because I mean, we were on topic of listening to music, and she goes, what music do I like? And she goes, like she holds her fingers in her mouth and goes, what song do you like? I'm like, okay, and she's just walking by, and then I ask her, and then before she gets to like answer, cause she was humming for like a good 10 seconds. She goes, So then I go, okay, so, not the question she was expecting, right? She wanted me to give her an answer when it comes to music, but she doesn't have any music in mind. So then I go, alright, have to ask the obvious question, you know what I mean? You have to ask this question, and then I go, and then I go, alright, so did you have fun partying? Did you party? I mean, you can tell, bro. She was drinking, she was partying, she was having fun. She was having fun. Are you having fun partying? And then she goes, yeah, I've been partying today, maybe a little bit, maybe, but don't tell anyone. In my head I was laughing when I not the hard lecture, and I'm like, nice. And imagine the entire conversation, she's wobbling and struggling with her words. She's like, like I said, I've never seen like someone so drunk. Like, okay, I've seen someone so drunk before, but I've never seen like a girl this drunk before, going on like this, and she reeks. By the way, she reeks of alcohol. Just like, and then, and then. Okay, I'm glad you have fun. And she said, and then she asked me what I've been doing that day, and I said, oh, a whole bunch of stuff, right? I mean, I went shopping with friends, did a bunch of stuff, and she was like, okay, cool. And then we were like beginning to approach beginning to approach where I live, and so I just told her, alright, well, I live around this way, so yeah, goodbye, I guess. And then she goes, oh, uh, she stands completely still and goes, oh, just look ahead of her, and then she turns her head to me, and then she goes, oh, okay, goodbye. And then she walks off, and I'm like, cool, interesting experience, very interesting. Well, I'll just take my One Piece poster and go home, and it just went on home. Oh yeah, one more thing she did say, to be fair, when she first approached me was that, you know, she was wondering, I'm like, oh, is there something? I remember asking her, like, is there something you want or something? And she goes, nah, I just want to walk with you because you seem to be dancing, and since we're going the same direction, I just want to walk together. And I go, oh, okay, sure. Alright, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm down, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't seem to have any ill intent, right? I mean, I think she just saw me dancing with the poster and wanted to have a random person hang out with her. I think that was just it. But yeah, it was wild. I mean, yo, Saturdays at night in big cities is just wild, bro. And Fridays at night, it was crazy. But yeah, this isn't the first time I've been approached by random people like this. But it's one of the wilder experiences I've had. Yeah. But wow, yeah, and then she just walked afterwards. She just kept walking after I told her. Like, okay, I guess she just wanted. We did not walk together for a long period of time either. We walked together for like a minute before I reached my home, and I was like, okay, I'm here now. See ya. You know, I wasn't gonna follow her to wherever she was going, so okay, see ya. Good luck. Have a good night. Yeah, okay. Wow, but isn't the first time I've been approached by drunk people. I've been approached by, actually, I've been approached by many drunk people in the past. And I think about it. Wow, I was a, I was approached by a drunk older guy. That time, okay. So more story time, I guess. I was approached by a drunk older guy. Let's see here. I was approached by a drunk older guy when I was taking a walk with my dad. So me and my dad, we have like this weird personal relationship where like we like to go for walks together because we both like walking, like, and you know, he's like okay, so we go for walks together just randomly. Like we'll go just look at the uh, uh, um the river, right? Because there's a lot of rivers here, right? We have a lot of rivers in Norway, right? So just go like look at the river, and it's kind of like a really cool like father-son bonding moment, I guess, if you look at it like that. But yeah, we just walk and then we talk about different stuff, and I think it's really cool that we have that kind of thing. And he as far as I know, he doesn't have that kind of thing with his siblings. I don't know. Maybe he walks with his siblings something. I don't know. But it's like definitely something me and him did often together. Well, I mean, not anymore because I don't live with him anymore. But whenever I visit, for sure we take walks together. And we just talk about random stuff. And I remember asking, because my dad, when taking walks, he doesn't like to talk a lot. He just likes to listen to what I have to say. So whenever I'm silent, my dad just tells me, alright, keep going, talk about something. It's really cool. So like, okay, and then I'll talk about whatever. I can talk about my university. And he'll just sit there and listen and either like say, or like, just, you might see something reply, and then I'll just keep talking and talking, and then I'll talk about random stuff. I can talk about, because you guys know me, with you guys, I talk about a lot of random stuff when we're talking with you guys as well. I'm a very talkative person, and my dad is the opposite. My dad does not talk a lot. Like, he's just very, he's not a very, he's not a very silent guy either. Nah, I mean, the thing, my dad is like, there's no in between them. He either talks a lot or talks very little. But when he walks outside with me, he just doesn't talk a lot. But when like he meets friends his age, he likes to talk a lot. That's when he talks and he screams and goes like he has the ability to do that. But a lot of times he just like. So when I'm walking with him, he typically has that sensibility. Or when he's watching TV, right, the news or anything like that, he's just silent. Like my man can stay silent for like 3 hours and not say a single peep of a word. Or he can just be very energetic. So he really just has no in between. It's really interesting. But yeah, it was one time we were taking a walk, and we could talk about a bunch of different stuff. Like we could talk about, hey, look, they renovated that building over there, right, in the city, whatever. And he goes, yeah, it's cool. One time we were walking, and this random guy, not even from the city. It was from another city, completely other city. You can tell he was extremely drunk. We kind of did smell kind of a drug-like, alcohol-like smell from it, or like not drug. I should say a cigarette, like cigarette smoke kind of sense from him. We noticed that he was drunk, and he just ran in approached and was like, "Hey, yo!" Like he's older, this older like 50-year-old dude just approaches, and we were like, "Hello," and he goes, "Do you know where a place where you can drink coffee?" Bro, drunk people are wild, bro. And we just go, yeah, I mean, there's a coffee place over here. There's also a really famous coffee place over, in the center over there. Whatever. We told him, it was like, okay. But he just sat and talked with us for sort of like 10, 15 minutes, and he was just really random. And we were struggling to understand him too, because he was drunk and he was like, he had a dialect already to begin with, and we were struggling to talk. So yeah, it was a really weird approach. And he didn't even come from the same city as we did, so he was kind of a tourist there in a way. But yeah, it was just wild. But yeah, and again, I've met other drunk people walking by. And there was one time I was grocery shopping. This drunk guy just came up to me in the store, grabbed like a thing. I don't know what he was grabbing, and then he just threw it at some other stuff. The stuff all fell down, and I was just grabbing my grocery stuff. I'm just like, yo, I do not want to. And then he ran off, and I'm like before he ran off, he just started running off. I'm like, yo, I do not want to be involved in this. Like genuinely, like I could have been in trouble there. He just ran off, and I just went to the cashier. Like I went to the person. I just bought my groceries and went home. Nothing happened after that. I'm sure the employees fixed it, but I was like, what the frig? He came up to me and was like, hey, what are you doing? Are you grocery shopping? Oh, you're buying bread, because I was buying bread. You're buying bread? And he was extremely drunk and just threw stuff. I'm just like, yo, what is wrong with you? And he goes, so what are you eating tonight? I'm like, I'm not eating tonight. This is groceries for tomorrow. He's like, oh, okay. He's like talking like that, and I'm like, weirdo. And he just runs up the store. I'm like, what the frick, bro? Like, what the frick, bro? It was wild. So yeah, I just bought my groceries and went home. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, I've had multiple meetings with drunk people beyond that too. This time not drunk people. I've also had other random meetings. I guess one time I was just walking in the city center, whatever. It was like a group of girls, like 4 girls, came up to me and were like, yo, can we take random guy? Can we take a picture with you? And I'm like, okay, I guess, okay. So then they just like all like stood together next to me and took a selfie, and I'm just there like smiling like, I don't feel like I belong here. I'm like, okay, thank you. And then it was like, thank you, bye. I'm like, okay, bye. And the only thing I could think of was that they're doing it because of a challenge, right? I'm sure like they're a group of friends or whatever who have like a list of challenges, and one of them was like, take a picture with a stranger or whatever. So I'm sure I was their lucky stranger, so I'm saved in a challenge history book. I'll take it. Okay, I have been babbling on and on for long enough. I've clipped my nails already. It's time to read Umineko. Oh no, what have I done? Oh, I should have made this. I should just made all I was talking about a separate video. This should not be in this should be its own video. I think I've been talking for like 30 minutes, Alright, we'll get to Umineko. Do I need to recap last part? I guess I might as well. I also should make a timestamp for, I should make a timestamp for right now! Alright, if I decide to make a timestamp, here we go. We're reading Umineko now, finally. I've just been babbling on and on about a whole bunch of stuff that happened to me. But, I do recommend at least listen to, like, the last story that I've been talking about if you want, but that's up to you, whatever. I thought I was talking about something really interesting there at the end, but hey, maybe not, up to you. We're really gonna read the Umineko now though, so let's recap last part. Alright, so to recap last part, we had these letters that Angel's talking about now, and they've been sent back after the sender not even existing, the address not existing, and the address is obviously very sus. And these letters were thanks to a commenter that corrected me. I mean, I should say clarified for me. They were sent the day before the actual murders, uh, you know, 12 years ago, and they were sent to various people. They were sent to Kumasawa's son, I forgot his name, and to Nanjo's son, also forgot his name, and they were also sent to Angie. Well, one of them was sent to Angie, and Angie just vaguely didn't remember it until just like a little bit ago, and she went, "Oh yeah, that letter. It was sent to me as well, but I think it's gone now or something. I threw it somewhere. Probably didn't care because I was really young." And they were sent the 3rd of October, and the murders happened 4th and 5th of October. I mean, that's when the Rokujima incident happens. So Angie's to show you. So Angie's now discovering these letters, and these letters all take them to 100 million yen, a huge sum of coins, so $1 million basically. Now, because the commenter corrected me on things, well, I mean, clarified me about the well, I made the theory last part it could have been Eva, but because they were sent the 3rd of because they were sent in the 3rd of October, and because a commenter even told me that in the past Angie confirmed that the handwriting, Eva's handwriting, doesn't match the handwriting in Maria's diary, and these letters do. It probably isn't Eva. Now, I'm not gonna completely rule out the theory from everything, because again, it's not been proven with the red truth, but I'm going to list the theory off as extremely unlikely that it was Eva. So, and Beato's trying to convince us that it was her, and like Angie's saying right here, I wonder if the sending of these envelopes was to demonstrate that this was a premeditated crime by Beato. So basically, Beato already knew that these crimes were gonna happen, and she knew if the 4th and 5th of October were gonna go as how they go. Here's what I find interesting. Here's one thing I find interesting. For one thing, these letters have not been mentioned in any of the previous episodes. Now, they could have very well been existing, we just didn't know about these before now. That's one thing. Secondly, Beato's game board happens in the 4th and 5th Twilight. And even according to Burncastle herself, Beato can't really interact with what happens outside of the 4th and 5th of October. That's right. So while Angie can't interact with Beato 12 years in the future, neither can Beato herself, because Beato's game board is in the 4th and 5th Twilight. That's where she goes wild in Rokkenjima. So these letters, were they really written by Beato in the 3rd of October? The day before her game board is supposed to start? Her game board is a loop of the 4th and 5th of October in Rokkenjima. So how does that work? But the handwriting is the same as in Maria's diary. So some questions there. But yeah. I think we can keep going. Did I recap last part well enough? There's a huge sum of money. I spent a long time last part noting down the what Angel, these letters and what Angel's talking about, and the contents of the letters, because some of the easy to forget details, and I'm glad I noted them down because I want to make sure I remember this stuff. Because I feel like I've already forgotten some few minor details, and it happened already last part. So I'm glad I wrote it down. But yeah, let's see. I have anything else to need to recap. I forgot the names of Kumasawa's son and Nanjo's son, but it's fine. They'll probably mention again. If not, I can always just look at the character file, so no big deal. No big deal. Oh yeah, I have new, by the way, I have new glasses from Spec Savers, so I got even stronger glasses, so now I'm seeing Supreme. Well, I mean, when it comes to recording videos, it doesn't matter, because I am nearsighted. Yes, that's how it is. That's how you say it in English. I'm nearsighted, so when recording videos, I'm already close to the screen. So it doesn't really matter whether I use these glasses or my older glasses. My older glasses are still here. They're just I put them in a shelf somewhere because I don't need them. I'm using these new glasses, and these new glasses they are -2. My older glasses used to be -1.5, so I have to get a bit stronger glasses. But still, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm still still able to see. I'm probably going to get the I was really thinking of getting the laser surgery one day, but not anytime soon. But one day once I get enough budget, enough money, I'll probably get some laser, the laser eye surgery, LASIK. What is that surgery called? Yeah, I'm probably gonna get it because I don't want to be wearing glasses forever. It's really good surgery. I have an acquaintance. Well, I mean, okay, an acquaintance of my mother's. An acquaintance of my mother's daughter. Whatever. It was, an acquaintance, a friend, whatever. And she used to wear glasses, but she got this laser eye surgery thanks to her mother when she was younger, which was a couple of years ago. And she now doesn't wear glasses anymore. Not lenses, not glasses, or anything. She's fine now. But she used to wear glasses when she was a kid. She used to wear glasses when she was even younger than I was. I started wearing glasses when I was like 13, 14-ish. So yeah, like a while ago now. So yeah, I was thinking of doing that, but again, I don't have the budget, I don't have the money to do it right now. But definitely someday I'll do it for sure. Just so I don't have to wear glasses anymore. But yeah, stronger glasses, and bro, I'm seeing the world in 8K now. It feels weird to see the world in 8K. I'm finally seeing things. Obviously I went out today, so like when I was seeing things, it was so weird to see the world in 8K, bro. I was literally seeing the world in 8K. Previously, it felt like I was seeing the world in 1080p. Now I'm seeing it in 8K, bro. Getting better glasses is good. So I do highly recommend you guys, maybe not to get glasses, but check on your eyesight for sure. When I checked on my eyesight like a couple weeks back, and bro, they were like, "Yo, you should probably get new glasses." I'm like, "Okay," and I got new glasses. But okay, let's keep reading. All right, I babbled long enough. I think I've recapped well enough. I think we can keep reading. All right. Was this a permitted crime by Beato? Alright, here we go.
消印は親族会議の直前。そしてわざと時間をかけて変装されてくるように仕組まれている。
I have a question. Now that Mammon is saying this, they were supposed to right before the family conference. So they were sent back after some time. I have a question. Did they ever say that these letters were postmarked before the family conference? Did they say that last part, or is that something that they revealed this part? Because a commenter told me about it, that they were sent in the 3rd of October, or before the family conference last part. But I wonder if that was technically not something I was supposed to know last part, and it's something I was supposed to know right now instead. Not a big deal anyway. I'm not angry or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, because I'm obviously dumb, right? They'll say stuff and might go over my head. I'm dumb, I know that. But I mean, if it's something that this wasn't said last part, then can you really blame me for thinking that it might have been Eva after the murders happened? You know what I mean? Can you really blame me? I didn't know that these were sent before the murders happened. So if I wasn't supposed to know that until now, then how can you blame me for that theory? I'm just saying like that. I'm just saying this because I know I'm dumb, and I know it probably was told last part, but I just want to check that, like, okay, did the commenter that told me this, did they tell me this based on what we already read last part, or is this something that gets revealed right now? It's whatever. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. It's fine. So it's back after some time. Alright.
事件の後に届くようにしたかったということかな。
Yeah?
うん。そうなるわ。でも少し疑問もあるの。なぜこんな不確実な方法で
It is a very uncertain method, you're right.
不確実？ねえ。だって何日で郵便が戻ってくるかなんて事前には想像もできないじゃない。郵送先の郵便局が調査し、送付先不明と判断し返送するまでの期間なんて普通は想像もできない。そういえばそうだね。
It is a very uncertain method. Because even if they do that, there's a chance that it won't be sent back to the family anyway.
ちゃんと到着の期日を決めて、そういう郵便で出した方が確実なのにね。うりゅう。
Be more certain they just set an arrival date and mailed it that way. Yes. But what about this, Sakutaro? Now that you said that, Sakutaro. How about this, Sakutaro? The culprit doesn't know where they live. what if the culprit, whether it was a witch or whatever the frick you wanna say, the culprit doesn't know where they live. The culprit doesn't know where their respective families live, right? And if they just send it to their address, okay, a couple of things to say. Okay, I have some good things to say here. So one thing, the culprit doesn't know where they live, so if they just write the name down, let's say of Nandro or whatever, right, and write a post number office thing that doesn't even exist, right, it'll be sent back to where Nandra's son actually lives, right? Because it'll be sent back to Nandra's son, because the culprit knows that they're gonna do the island incident, but they don't know where Nandra's son lives, so they just go, whatever, and then it'll be sent back to him. They trust in that, right? So that's one thing. Another thing, that's probably the reason why they were sent in the most northern part of Japan and the most western part of Japan, because they don't want to get tracked, which is like the third thing. The culprit doesn't want to get tracked. If the culprit knows where Nanjo's son lives or where Kumasawa's son lives, it's like, okay, this is someone that is very familiar with the Ushirome family. It makes the culprit easier to track down. This is someone that is, you know what I mean, right? But consider someone that just sent it randomly, and it sent it to random spots in Japan, like, oh, most northern part, most western part. These are culprits that sent them these letters randomly, in random. It's harder to track, it's harder to pinpoint what sort of person the culprit could be. And to further expand on that, yeah, the culprits don't get tracked. They don't want them to know that they're connected to the Shuma family, right? There was something else I had in my mind though. There was another really important thing that I really want to say about this. Because they sent the most northwestern part of Japan, most part of Japan, right? Or one of them, right? Because that way they can keep their anonymity as well. It'll be easy, like this. Well, I mean, I say anonymity. This letter was supposedly sent by Nanjo's son, right? So by doing this, it guarantees that it goes back to Nanjo's son. Well, it doesn't guarantee. It's uncertain, like Angie said. But still, this way they can help keep their anonymity. But I say that. But at the same time, I say anonymity. This person's handwriting isn't just in these letters. It's also in Maria's diary. So the culprit clearly has no issue with us learning about the fact that these letters and Maria are connected, right? Because Maria died in the incident, and the fact that Maria's diary still existed after the whole thing means that the culprit doesn't care that people find Maria's diary and find out that the letters are also connected to the diary. And the culprit has done that many times until now. Whether it's a human culprit or a Beato or a magic or whatever, the culprit has done that many times. Where they'll make things really obvious for us. Like, hey, see this? Look at this, right? Like, the fact that these letters are connected to Maria's diary, the culprit started to make it very obvious, going, hey, by the way, it's definitely me, right? The murders and these letters, they're both me, they're both done by me, they're not being secretive about it at all, right? Like, for example, the culprit could have had someone else write these letters down for him or something like that to hide their handwriting, or even Maria's book or whatever. They could have done a bunch of different methods, but instead they're making it very clear, like, okay, I'm the one that made these letters, that wrote down these letters. So I say that the culprit isn't trying to get tracked, but at the same time, the culprit is taunting us. It feels like the culprit is smart about not being tracked, but at the same time taunting us about the fact that they did the murders and they're the ones that sent the letters. It's crazy. I don't know what to think here. I don't know who to trust. No surprise. So yeah, alright, let's see what Angie has to say about it though. That's what I had to say about it. Let's see what Angie has to say about it.
まあでも前日に投函したんならどんなに早く戻ってきても きっと月曜日以降の到着になったでしょうし。
Exactly. That's probably another aim of the culprits. They knew that no matter when they mailed it, like they knew it would probably not arrive or return before the murders happen, and the culprit was well aware that the murders will happen on the 4th or 5th of October, guaranteed.
死者からの手紙を気取りたかったんじゃないかしら。
It's not to be seen like a letter from the dead. No, no, I don't think so. I highly doubt it.
死者からの手紙。
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that's the message you're trying to say.
確かにね。
You're right.
あれ
Why?
は驚くし、嫌な気持ちになるわよ。
But is that? I don't feel like that's aim. Angie, do you really think that's a culprit's aim there? I don't think so.
死んだ家族の名前が表に大きく書かれている郵便物が。
Although I did say how the culprit's taunting us here. In a way, I could see how the culprit could be trying to taunt us. Because Beato's been doing that a lot, where she's trying to make it like laugh at us, like, haha, idiots! Haha, you're getting mail from your dead family right after they die.
物々しい付箋付きで郵便受けに放り込まれているんだから。
I guess I see your. I see. Okay, you know what? Now that I'm reading Angie's explanation, I'm seeing the argument for that. Yes, it could be. But is that be the culprit's aim though? With an ominous label attached.
でも私は何か腑に落ちないわ。
I agree. Like I see the explanation, but I agree. I have to agree with Angie. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Like Mammon, I see where you're coming from, but is that the culprit's aim? I agree. It doesn't make sense.
私だったら期日指定郵便にする。ひょっとしたら想定しない日に届くかもしれないという不安定さが私にはどうしても理解できないの。
Why? Wait, what do you mean, Angie? I don't get it. Why do you say this? Because I mean, no matter when the letter arrives, it's not going to be returned to the families before the murders happen, no matter what. Unless you're saying that the murderer was, or the culprit was trying to purposely have the letters be returned at the exact same time. But even then, that's impossible to say because it could take different police stations a different amount of time to call a letter out for, you know, not have any destination and be sent back. So either way, it's uncertain. So I don't know what you're trying to say, Angie. Why would it have to be a specified day? Why would they... What if the culprit doesn't care about the day the letter arrives? It can arrive whenever it wants, as long as it's after the murders happen.
ウリュウ。
Sakutaro, what do you have to say?
でも確かにそういうのベアトらしいかなって思う。
It does sound like a Beato thing to do. You're right. It does sound like a Beato, or in general, whether Beato did these murders or not, it does sound like whoever did these murders also did this thing. It sounds connected. That's for sure. Whether you believe in witches or not, I think there is a correlation there. For sure.
あなたベアトのことわかるの？
Of course he does. He's met her.
ちょっとしかお話ししたことないけど。
I mean, yeah, but you kind of know her a little bit, right? You met her.
でもベアトならこういうことをするかなってのがなんとなくわか
I
るの。
agree. I agree. Beato / the culprit, whatever. We're not here. Guys, let's just... I'm gonna say this right now. In regards to all of what's happening right now, do not come at me in the comments being like, yo, Amen, do you believe in magic or not? Because, like, in the context we're at right now, it's not that it doesn't matter, but I don't want it to matter for right now. What we're talking about right now is strictly the culprit in general, magic or not. Whether you reading this, read me right now, are a magic believer or not, doesn't matter. Would the culprit do this? It doesn't matter. The how doesn't matter. It's the thought behind it. Like, why would the culprit do this? Like, what aim? You know what I mean? It's not the how they did it. You know, I mean, it is how they did it, but it's like, It's not like, oh, magic did it, and that's what. Nah, like we're here to just say like, alright, culprit's mindset. You know what I mean?
マモンもなんとなく想像がつかない？
Although to be fair, we're humans. We don't understand how witches' minds work. So, based on that argument, if you don't understand how witches' minds work, we won't understand why they would do things the way that they do. So maybe that could be your argument for why it matters whether or not witches did it or not, which is fair. Maybe we can we can never understand how witches and people of magic think, but I don't know. I don't think that's the aim the visual novel is trying to take. I don't think the visual novel is trying to tell me that, oh, witches are I don't think the visual novel is trying to tell me that witches are beings that think differently from humans and are fundamentally different from humans in the way that they think. You know what I mean? Sure, they surpassed immortality and death and all that, and sure, they've made that a whole theme. But I don't think the visual novel is trying to tell me in general that witches are completely different from humans, especially because witches originate in being humans, like they were humans at first, or at the very least Beato and Virgilia were. I mean, as far as what the visual novel told me, right? The visual novel, I'm pretty sure I remember visual novel telling me that Beato used to be a human, so same thing as Virgilia. So, like, I can't say the same thing about Sakutaro or Mamoon, of course, but yeah, I think one of the obviously in this episode, I think one of the themes is definitely that, you know, without love you cannot be seen, as in. And I feel like the visual novel is trying to make me think that that includes witches and magic and that, and is that in that without love you can't understand the way even people of magic think and do stuff, because you know we can see eye to eye or whatever. That might be one of the things that one of the themes that the visual novel is aiming for, but I'm telling you right now, Beato sucks, so it doesn't matter. We'll see.
ベアトってこういういたずら好きだよね。
確かにそうかも。ベアドリージュ様なら死者からの手紙みたいな悪質ないたずらはやりかねないと思います。
うん、それだけじゃなくて、絶対確実な方法じゃなくて、ちょっぴり不確実な方法の方をベアトリーチェは面白がるの。
Exactly. Beato likes to toy around with things. That's the thing. That's the thing with Beato, is that we're dealing with someone that, like, someone described it really well. I think it was Banter. We're dealing with someone that doesn't necessarily have to make the best move possible. Like, imagine a chess game. We're playing with someone that doesn't always make the best move possible. They can make moves that are very uncertain, like in a chess game, but because they think it's more fun that way. And that's a very dangerous opponent. Because with someone that always makes certain moves, like, you know, Lambda Delta, it's easier to deal with because you know they're always certainly going to make the best moves. I say easier to deal with. It's I would say it's equally as hard to deal with, right? Because I mean they're both really hard to deal with. Because I mean, if they make certain moves, but if they're well calculated, well thought out moves, then you're done either way, whether the move is good or not, or predictable or not. But if the person you're fighting against doesn't know what they're doing or isn't certain of things that are going to happen, how are you going to be certain of what they're thinking, of how they're plotting things? Exactly, you can't, because you're going to have to play with that realm of uncertainty yourself. And that's one of the advantages Beato has by doing things uncertainly like this. That's one of the advantages that any culprit, any murderer has in general. If the murderer risks things in a way and makes things uncertain, not only is it a good prank, but it's good to throw people off. It's like, yes, is it the best course of action for the murderer? No, but it will confuse investigators who are trying to think, how would the culprit go about this? You know, oh, there's no way the culprit would do something this dumb. But what if the culprit did, and did leave it to that sort of uncertainty? To mess the investigators up on purpose? Or maybe to just have fun with it, who knows? That's the thing with psychopaths. That's the thing with people like Beato. They just suck.
不確実な方法を面白がる。
Yeah, that's definitely Beato's personality. Kind of like Kinzo's personality as well. I mean, Kinzo's like the embodiment of that, because he risks it all. He risks his entire being into making sure that he gets to see Beato again. So I'm sure he finds that exciting, I guess. I remembered Mario Nechan's diary. It had quite a lot of descriptions of playing with Beato Ricci. Occasionally, some of these involved Beato playing pranks on the adult relatives with Mario. Well, but those pranks always followed a certain little aesthetic principle of witches, which was that things are more fun if they are uncertain. One day, Mario Nechan had brought a wind-up minicar, and she and Beato decided to use it for a prank. A wind-up minicar? It was a popular toy at the time. If you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the string in the tires, and when you let go, it would race forwards. Yeah, I know what a wind-up minicar is. I've used to own one when I was like a little kid, like 10 years old or whatever. 11 actually. 10? Yeah, 10, 11. Oh god, I remember. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I used to have one of those. Used to play with those sometimes when I was a little kid. I will say though, how are we gonna use that against the adults? I don't get it. Also, it was in 1986. That sort of thing was probably 1986, I guess. Yeah, those toy cars was popular in 1986, popular in the 2000s. I guess it's fine either way. Alright, they had wound up that mini car and set it in the shadow of a milk jug. Nani? What? The shadow of a milk jug. What are they planning to do with the milk jug? In other words, the prank was that if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Oh! Oh! That's a fun prank, you know? That's a That's a really fun prank. Honestly, 10-year-old me was not smart enough, or else I definitely would have pranked my parents with that. I was not smart enough though. That's funny. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, One-chan and Beato had watched the adults from the shadows for their whole tea time. But now I think about it, if you think about it, this is also part of Beato's personality, because it's not certain that someone would pick up the milk jar, right? That's not a certain thing. So Beato's kind of like risking that in a way, right? She's kind of risking that someone may not, the prank may not even work, and someone may never pick up the milk jug. We're looking forward to seeing who would get caught by it, but ultimately no one moved the trapped milk jug, and the trap never went off. See? So there's never any certainty that someone would actually pick it up. So Beato and Maria may have been anticipating something huge, but nothing happened. And that's the sort of uncertainty Beato likes to play around with. When Onechan had them altered, we should have put it somewhere where they definitely get caught by it. Beato apparently said this. She said, "Traps really don't know who will get caught, or even whether anyone will get caught at all, are more thrilling and fun." I wonder what Satoko has to say about that. Or should I say, Lambda Delta? Lambda Delta, what do you have to say about that, huh? Oh, Satoko's the queen of traps, yo. She was really getting people, bro. Yo, Keiichi and Higurashi, he was getting go real good. So I don't know. I wonder what she thought. I don't know. But Satoko's traps are never thrilling, or well, risky. Her traps always went off. She was masterful at that. It would always work. It's probably true that you wouldn't get that kind of excitement from a trap that would definitely catch someone. So here's the thing, whether Beato exists or not is fine, because this diary, the culprit has something to do with this diary, right? They wrote something down in this diary, whether it was Beato or not, right? They're connected to this diary, so... this kind of description occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beato had quite a fickle character and loved a random thrill. A fickle person is very hard to deal with, I agree. I can't flip over the chessboard. Exactly. That's the thing with fickle people. Mind games doesn't really work easily with them. To find out what witch from 12 years ago was planning. Exactly. What that witch? Flip the chessboard though. You also know that technique, Angie. You learned it from... did you learn it from Kiria yourself? The Kiria technique. Hard to flip a chessboard on Beato. As Angie thought these things over, her gaze wandered from place to place. Then she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, a number of framed photographs were hung. Many were commemorative photos from when the Kumasawas got together as a family when summer to play, and Kumasawa herself was in many of them. still with a smile that made it so you could almost hear her light-hearted ho 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 laugh. She still doesn't hold the record though. The woman that was inside of her holds the record. Okay, that was a sus phrase, but Virgilia holds the record. So, Kumasawa, you gotta take over with your ho 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 laugh. That's 1, 2, 2.5 right there. Yeah. Cross still originated it. Ho. It's a distant memory, but I do remember that she was definitely this sort of cheerful old lady. Yes, she was.
熊沢さんは事件の直前に変わった様子はありましたか？
いいよ。
Sabakichi is his name. There you go. So this quick reminder of this guy's name.
いつも通りに見えたな。親族会議はピリピリするから辛い辛いと漏らすのはいつものことでしたし。
これは？
Among the numerous frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. It was a photograph of an enlarged relief of a door from Western-style house or something. Enlarged relief of a door? What's an? I don't know what an enlarged relief of a door is. A Western-style house is interesting. That's magic. That's curse stuff. That's what Kinzo and Maria deal with. Beato. I couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit, as I wondered why anyone had gone to all the trouble of taking it. A relief of a door? What is that? As I got closer, I realized that some text had been written in pen.
ああ、それはお袋の形見分けでもらってきた写真ですわ。多分例の黄金伝説に関係したやつではないかと。
A photo? Is this what you meant by gold relief? Is this the gold relief? I don't know. Bad with English. Huh? Length of the gold thing? But isn't this the front door of the chapel? Or am I thinking of another place? Or is this the hidden mansion? Distributed, you say?
魔女の碑文ですか？10トンの黄金の隠し場所を示すと噂される。熊沢さんも挑んでおられたんですね。でもこれは碑文じゃない。初めて見るものです。
There was an arc above the Western style door, and that arc had a relief. Wait, Western style door? That's not the chapel, is it? Is it the chapel? Does the chapel have a Western style door? And that arc had a relief. It's a photograph of a Western style door, and the arc had a relief. I don't know what a relief is. I know what it means to be relieved, right? And have a time of relief, but I don't know what a relief is, like a noun. It was an inscription in English, and that seemed to be the focus of the photograph. An inscription in English? If this is the chapel, then I do remember George and the rest talking about how there was a number on top of the chapel or above the door of the chapel that sounds something along the lines of a very low possibility, which mirrors how Kinzo is into low probabilities and stuff like that, and low chances of things happening. So is that this relief thing that's written on it? Inscription in this English, is that what's written there? The pen writing appeared to be a transition to Japanese. Oh.
この扉は1000兆分の1の確率でしか開かない。
Okay, this is the chapel. Okay, this is the chapel. So now, okay.
あなたは1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されない。
Now we finally have the number, and now we can finally read it out. So, if you remember, George read this. I remember George reading this in episode 2, I believe, when the murders in the Halloween murders happened. So George read this, I remember. He went MBD, something like that, and I was like, I don't know what George is saying here, and it was in English, right? So that struggled me. And then someone told me about how you know, I'm kind of an idiot because because Japanese readers struggle with that, and if you don't even understand something that's in English, how are you gonna read, solve the epitaph? And I'm like, you're totally right. I won't be able to solve the epitaph, but okay. So George went MBD, whatever. He went like he was doing the shortages in English because George like was trying to find out how high of a number it was in English, right? So he went, okay, million, billion, trillion, you know what I mean? The thousand. I start with T, I guess. Thousand, million, T, M, B. You know what I mean? And he kept going T. Like he was trying to find. Oh my God, that's an insanely high number, right? This is what George said. A very low probability, which is a very low probability. This still only appears the probability of 1 out of that. Okay, so let's first read what this number is. So there's 3 zeros there. That's 1,000. 3 zeros there makes it a million. 3 zeros there makes it a billion. 3 zeros there makes it a trillion. Billion, trillion. 3 zeros makes this a quadrillion. So 1 out of a quadrillion chance. You'll only be blessed with a probability of 1 out of a quadrillion chance probability of the door opening. Quadrillion. That is an extremely low chance, by the way. That's, like I said, okay, let me check again. 1 million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. It should be quadrillion. Correct me if I'm wrong though, because I'm not really too sure how the on the number goes in English. But to be fair, I could also just say kilo. If you're let me know. I was gonna say if you're an American fan, this may not make as much sense to you, but it's fine. If you're American, this should be fine as well. Kilo, mega, giga, tera. Wait. I need to try again. I need to do it again. So kilo, mega, giga, tera. What comes after tera? I'm so used to terawatts. Is it zeta? No, zeta isn't what comes after. Is it zeta? What comes after tera? I'm so used to tera. Everyone knows about terabytes, terawatts, tera, right? Everyone knows. What the frick comes after tera? I don't actually know. This is the number that comes after tera. Tera is 10 to the power of 12, is it? Let's see, 10 to the power of 3, 6, 9, 12. Yes, 12. Yes, I'm right. Because there's 12 zeros. Because kilo is 10 to the power of 3, yeah. 10 mega, giga, tera. It's 10 to the power of 3 tera. 1 out of 10 to the power of 3 tera. I don't know what comes after tera, guys, because I never use it. I use terawatts when I do my engineering things. Okay, I don't use the number that comes above tera because it's just this is an extremely high number, a very low probability. All right.
知らないわ。こんな文章、碑文にもお姉ちゃんの日記にも出てこない。
I agree.
お袋の遺品の中に碑文の謎解きに挑戦してると思われる写真やノートが結構出てきたんですわ。
So yeah, despite the way she acts, Kurosawa was actually trying really hard to solve the riddle. Quite a few photos and notebooks that looked like they were from her trying to solve the Epilepsy riddle. So she was actually like gently trying to solve the riddle. Kurosawa.
お袋も案外そういうのが好きだったんだな。
Yeah, it may not seem like it, but she was actually really trying to solve it.
なんでも10トンの金塊が隠されてたって噂だ。そりゃお袋も夢中になるはずですわ。
In both Mario Nation's diary and in her grimoire, there was a description of the witch's epitaph. It mentioned about how it was a ritual to open the door to the Golden Land, and Beatrice's resurrection ritual, and Beatrice's succession ceremony. A lot of different stuff, right? Succession ceremony, you say? And so on. Beatrice's succession ceremony. Interesting! Interesting. The reason why I find this interesting is Beatrice succeeded Beato, because obviously she solved the epitaph, found the door to the... Did ever then find the door to the Golden Land? And also, does that mean that in episode 3, Beato was resurrected? And in episode 1 and 2 she wasn't? But in episode 3 she was? How does that work? Beatrice's succession ceremony, yeah, I mean, Beatrice became appointed the new Beato. And then Angie got appointed to the new Beato in the same episode. By Burn. Byrne helped her out with it. Byrne became her guardian. And so on, okay. Maybe the most interesting one was the last line. The succession ceremony. I agree! You're not the only one that went after that, Angie. I was just talking about it. According to Beatrice, if you're able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only the 10 tons of gold and the Ishuma family inheritance, but her own magical power and name, as well as the title of Golden Witch, which is exactly what we saw in Beatrice. And that's exactly what we see in you too, Angie. But I don't remember Angie solving the riddle, yet she still got the title after Eva was gone. Because Eva passed it on to her. Hmm? Did Angie solve the riddle without even knowing it? Because if you think about it, Angie has done everything except solve the riddle. Think about it. She received the 10 tons of gold from Eva. Boom. She got her, well, I don't know about magical power, but she definitely got her name and the title Golden Witch, right? Angie Beatrice, the Golden Witch, right? That's her name. The only thing she didn't really get was the solve the witch's epitaph. If you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, does that mean that Angie solved it? Does that mean that Angie's currently on the path to solving it, and that's why at the end of all this she becomes Angie Beatrice, who then goes on to help out Battler? I don't know. Let's keep reading. Among the Ishima family at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought of as a difficult quiz, which the head Kinzo had prepared to select his successor. But in the mariage sorcière interpretation, the questioner was Beatrice herself, and she had posed the question in part to choose her successor. Right, so the Ishima thought that it was about Kinzo's successor, but the epitaph itself says that it's about Beato's successor, not Kinzo's successor. There were slight discrepancies in the details of the two interpretations. Either way, its disturbing contents brought to mind a bloody serial murder, and both of the message bottles depicted a crime that followed that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph now, 12 years later, I wonder if I could expose some plot made back then. Maybe? Angie, maybe? If you solve it now, you may be content. You may be content with your journey. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It seems that many witch hunters have been trying as well. Yeah, witch hunters. Yeah, I doubt any of them will succeed. Maybe you will, but I doubt any of them will succeed. Because, I mean, look at how tough it was for Eva and Rosa to succeed. But still, I can't help but find it sus that they succeeded at the same time. And they were not aware of each other both succeeding at the same time until they met each other, confronted each other. Which I found so interesting. I found it so interesting that they succeeded at the same time. No one else has ever done it. Well, as far as we've seen. And they just both succeed at the same time. Or I mean, close to the same time, independently. Angie has no clue what it means. None of the witch hunters do. None of the other family members have been able to do it in any of the episodes. But he just did it both at the same time. Like, something must have happened in episode 3 that just made it click, you know what I mean? Click, click, click. And I don't know what it is. I also found theories like the La Plata theory and the Enora theory in certain books. I don't know what either of those theories mean. However, none of these theories were conclusive.
他にも資料が
あると思うけど、兄弟で適当に分けたからな。誰が何を持ってるやらさっぱりですわ。申し訳ない。
この熊沢さんが撮影した英文だけ読むと、めったに開かれない開かずの扉という印象を受ける。
The chapel?
でも、これは屋敷のどこかしら。
Angie, you'll find out by traveling there. You're gonna go to Rokkenjima anyway, right? With Amakusa. So you go to Rokkenjima, take Mamon and Sakutaro and stuff with you. Check out the chapel. Let's see if you find anything.
光の具合から屋外みたいだけど、熊沢さんはこの中にその黄金が隠されていると睨んでたのかしら。
It looks like it's outside, right?
さあ。
I like how she says where in the mansion is it, not where in the island. So she's saying it's outside.
いずれにせよ、六軒島の屋敷のどこかでしょうな。
Again, they're both thinking that it's in the mansion. But we know it's in Rokkenjima, we know it's in the chapel. It's not in the mansion. I guess they're not aware that buildings other than the mansion and the guest house exist.
お袋の預金口座には残念だが黄金を発見したと思えるようなお金は入ってませんでしたよ。さすがに見つからんかったんでしょうな。
Hey, mate, she died 12 years ago in the, in the murders, the serial murders. Yes, she didn't find the gold. The golden witch Beato gave 10 tons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beato was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Shiromiya family. The witch holding this vast wealth had massacred the humans on Rokkenjima on that day, and sent large amounts of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is the desecration of the dead. I see. I was once again convinced. My family, who died on the island that day, didn't die and go to heaven. They're being trapped by the witch even now, and are being desecrated and tormented for all eternity. Wow, that is a shocking truth. That is so shockingly true that it's crazy. They're repeatedly being tormented. Yes, Angie. That's crazy how she came to that conclusion, though. The last place Angie visited was a store in a region where residential and commercial areas intermingled, with a signboard saying Morifuki Sleep Shop. I think I'm gonna end it there. Yes, I didn't make a lot of progress visual novel wise, but I've been talking a lot this part. And to make up for that, next time I record, don't worry y'all, I'll make sure to actually make more progress in the story, okay? I'm sorry. I'm bad. Wow, I had a lot of things to say, but I do hope as many of you guys listened to what I had to say near the end of the start of this video. Does that make sense? The start of this video where I talk a lot before actually starting to read Umineko. I do hope that you guys listen to that, because that was a really fun story that happened to me today. But I mean, hey, it's up to you. It's fine if you're just here for Umineko. I mean, whatever. Sorry for making like a third of this video just me talking at the start, and not just in general. In general, 75% of this video just be me talking. There's been very little actual story progression in the visual novel, so I apologize for that in general. If you're here to watch me read the visual novel and not to just watch me babble on, I'm sorry. I'll make more progress in the future videos, and I'll because I mean, hey, I want to get to the end of this too. I mean, the end of this episode as well, right? I want to keep reading so that I can start making my theory video on what's going on in this visual novel. I want to finish these question marks myself, because I think episode 4 is the longest episode so far. It's gonna take a little bit, but yeah. I'll see you guys next time. We'll see what Angie is gonna do in the store, in region where residential and commercial areas intermingled. Marufuki Sleep Shop. Sleep Shop? She's going to Sleep Shop. Okay. I don't really know. I don't really know who could be there. Perhaps it's another family member. Who? It can't be Kanon Shannon. Could it be in the orphanage where they grew up? Is there like an orphanage institution owned by Kinzo? Because what other family members could it be? It can't be Sumadera's, obviously. Could it be Hideyoshi's family? That's a good shout. Could be Hideyoshi's family. Could be Natsu's family. Those are the only two I can think of. The Genji's family? Does Genji have any background or anything like that? Any family can visit? Or is he just like Kanon and Shannon and was like brought up in an orphanage when eventually became Kinzo's friend and has been with him for 4 decades plus? Could it be Gora? Gora, yeah, Gora's family. Maybe Gora's family received a letter. I think it's likely that it's Gora, considering he's not a main family member. He's not connected to the main family, I mean, by marrying or whatever. But it could very well be Hideyoshi or Natsu's family, even if they're not, directly married. Obviously, it's not Kiryo's family. That's this is Madara. Obviously not. So yeah, I imagine it's one of those 4 possibilities. That it's Kenji. That it's Kora. No, don't that it's Kora. I bet it's most likely Gora's family, but I'm not gonna rule out the possibility of it being. I'm not gonna rule out the possibility of it being Natsu's family or Hidoshi's family. We'll see. Marufuki's sleep shot. Natsu's family sounds like they could be running a sleep shot, but so could Gora's family. Oh, Gora's family could be because he used to be working hotels and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Angie has in store for us next time. I'm sorry for making so little progress this part. I'll see you guys next time for more Umineko. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, alright, y'all. Peace.